Hello and welcome to Chapter 12 Key Highlight video. Chapter 12 Developing Goals and Formulating a Contract. Assessment helps us understand the client. Goal setting asks where we are going and how we will get there. And this is where insight begins turning into action. The core message that I have for you guys today is goals provide direction, while contracts clarify how the client and the social worker will work together toward change. Literally, this is the message for the entire chapter. So, when we're talking about purpose of goals, why do we have goals? Honestly, if I'm going to have my client coming in and we're just talking and talking and talking and talking, then this is not therapy. This is more of a just like having a conversation. This is not work. This is not clinical work that the client is seeking from us. This is why we need goals, because they connect assessment, intervention, and evaluation. That's the work that actually the client is seeking, is to help to change, right? Now, these goals, when you create them, must fit the client, must fit the client's behaviors, emotion, coping skills, relationships, accessing resources, navigating system support available for them, right? And when you write these goals, consider the client's multiple identity, the client's system, for example, their readiness, their motivation, their financial status, their housing status, any legal issues, any CYFD involvement, any felonies that has been happening, or any barriers. So a clinically appropriate goal may still fail if it does not fit the client's reality. You want to make sure that these goals can actually happen, that are realistic to the patient's reality. What's the real situation? What is something that the client can do within the situation that they're in right now, right? Now, when we define effective goals, or what defines effective goals, your goals has to be smart, right? Smart goals, where we're speaking about smart goals, specific, measurable, attainable, right? Make sure that you guys have smart goals for your patient. Now, when we're formulating goals collaboratively, goals, when we're developing those as clinicians, it's not about what I want it for the client to do. It's more about working together. What would the client want it to do right now? What would be meaningful to them, right? Now, monitor progress for sure. Look into qualitative measures, look into quantitative, like have the client keep records, or like a journal where they, look into your notes, past one, or like from day one when you met with the client to maybe day 10. Like these notes, believe it or not, can give you really a lot of data. So look into your notes as well. Now, and measure the process, evaluate it, and share the findings with your client. The working contract, mostly I like to call it the working agreement, or an agreement, like a client therapist agreement. And this is where we're like really clarify everybody's role and what am I supposed to do and what the client is supposed to do toward achieving these goals. Like what kind of assignments am I assigning, different tasks, for example, this week than the one? Is there an article that I need to look into to gather more information that helps us improve on certain issue or matter? So that's the role that I usually take on. Versus the client. The client is needing, for example, to practice the skill that they learned twice a week, probably like twice a week with a couple of their friends. So look into those. So responsibilities, right? We talk about it, and we document and we bring into the table. Now, be flexible and renegotiate with your client, because sometimes we think what's reality or what's realistic and it can be done. It can, however, it is easy said than done. So look into that, be flexible. So the final takeaway that I wanted, or that I have for you guys, is assessment: understand the situation, goals, identify the desired direction. Collaboration, develop goals with the client. Measurement, monitor meaningful progress. Contract, clarify roles and expectations. Flexibility, revise the plan when needed. Now, the question that I have for you guys for this chapter is, when developing goals, what might be most difficult for you? Allowing the client to set the decision, making goals specific, balancing barriers with responsibility, or adjusting a plan that is not working. What's easy for you or what's most difficult for you? Goals provide direction, contracts provide structure, and collaboration is what makes both effective. Thank you.